The DJI Air 3 has just been released, but I don't think I've seen such controversy on any drone over the last few years, like we've seen on the DJI Air 3. Why is that? So in this video, I'm going to highlight what it's been like for me testing this drone, the good things, and also what I don't like about this drone as well. But I'm also going to try and actually answer some of these key concerns and comments that I'm seeing all over the place about the DJI Air 3, especially the immense anger that I'm seeing about the DJI Air 3 as well, and try and either answer some of those questions or at least put your mind at rest. So let's now talk about the good side. Let's get the good things out of the way. Let's start on a positive note. So you've probably seen all over the place that this has a dual camera setup now. So two cameras on the DJI Air 3. You've got a 24mm wide camera, which is completely controversial. I'll get to that in a second. But also a 70mm tele lens, so a zoom camera. And I am absolutely obsessed with this. This 70mm on here, 3x zoom, is brilliant. I've been using this so much over the last few months. I think it's fantastic. It gives you so many different advantages. One of those is you can actually compress that background brilliantly and just look at some of these videos. The background just looks huge. You get this fantastic parallax effect. Everything looks like it's moving super fast. I love it. But you can also zoom into things as well. So you can get a wide angle shot with a 24mm, and then you can then zoom in. So you can get two different focal lengths in that same location. You can also use that tele lens where you don't want to physically get your drone closer to things. So let's say you want to film a building, but you don't want to fly your drone over people. You can just actually be a bit further back. Use that 70mm lens and voila, you've done it. So I absolutely love the 70mm tele lens on here. Oh, this drone's heavier, and this is a great thing. This is now 720 grams, and I think that's fantastic. So what this brings is wind resistance. So I've had this in several locations. So top of a cliff where it was really windy, it's about 30+ miles per hour. I was like, should I send this? I'm actually testing this drone. Absolutely I should. So I got this in the air, no problem whatsoever with that wind resistance. So it's not as heavy as the Mavic series, but it is pretty much on par with that Mavic series now in terms of wind resistance, which is fantastic. So much better than the Mini series and the DJI Air 2S series in relation to wind resistance. If I did at the top of a mountain, absolutely fine. Wind resistance on here is brilliant. One of the best things about this now. I'm so glad it's a bit heavier, still 900 grams, still got a C1 label on this. Fantastic. I also like all the features that DJI have just pumped into this. They woke up one morning and were like, right, where's that Mavic series? Okay, there it is, right. I want every single feature on that Mavic series and put it on the DJI Air 3. And they just didn't held back at all. So you've got like waypoints now, you've got cruise control, night video, you have the same active track, so active track 5, so you can position on a clock face exactly where that drone to track you from. You have sensors all around the drone, so you've got full confidence that your drone's not going to crash. You have literally every feature, intelligent flight feature, that the Mavic series has on here, so you're not going to like miss out. So I think that is also a great thing. But battery life's also been improved as well. So you've got 46 minutes of battery life on here. That's much more than the DJI Air 2S, much more than the Mini 3 Pro. Battery life is the same as that Mavic series. It's not a gimmick either. Like I say, in those locations where it was really windy, that's where you're going to see that battery drain. I didn't see it. I did all that filming there, testing literally all the different features. And I was like, what should I shoot now? I'm going to have to shoot something. What else? The battery life is so good. And if you get the combo version of this as well, you're going to get 3 extra batteries, which is more than enough then to in that location. You've got 3 different batteries to cover you. Battery life, again, what we all want, more flight time, you have it on here. It's actually got a lot of good things going for this. It has loads of features built into it, but it also has a few negative sides as well. Some things that I personally don't particularly like. Let's talk about them. But before we do, let's just talk about today's sponsor, which is Artlist, a long-term sponsor of this channel. It's where I get all my music and sound effects from. And they make my life so much easier. Having access to thousands of musics to choose from, I can just go onto their website and search for, say, cinematic. I can listen to loads of different options and then download one of those tracks instantly and then use them on any of these YouTube videos, monetize them without any fear of copyright strikes. They also have crazy amounts of sound effects. So for drones, you've got wind noises, wave noises, transitions, they have everything. They also have a new Max plan, which gives you stock footage, plugins, a video editor, music and sound effects all in one huge bundle. They also have now a new AI search tool as well. So you can go onto the actual stock footage section, you can type in mountain, and I've got loads to choose from here. So I want to actually select this one in the Dolomites. But what the AI does, it will detect that that is a drone flying in the mountains, and it will automatically actually offer you some sound effects that go perfectly with that video clip. It's really clever. So if you want to actually go and check it out, prices start from just $9.99 a month, and you also get an extra 2 months free with my link. If you ever watched any of my videos and you like the music and sound effects, especially the cinematic videos, it's all from Artlist, so I highly recommend it. It's all going to be linked at the top of that description. Now let's talk about the bad points. So when I first saw the spec sheet of the DJI Air 3, I was like, oh fantastic, this can now shoot in vertical video like the Mini 3 Pro. This camera rotates. It doesn't. What this does is the camera itself doesn't rotate, it will actually crop in. So you get that 4K video file and it's going to crop in and produce a 2.7K video. So that quality isn't 4K, which I can forgive because it's better than not having anything at all. But what's also frustrating, I find, what I particularly don't like, is that we don't have any option to use vertical in photos. So I just don't understand really why. I mean, I know that it's only a 12 megapixel, it does lots of like censoring magic and turns this into 48 megapixel, but the actual guts of it is 12 megapixel. So if we're going to crop into that, it's going to be even worse. But to be honest, most people who are taking photos on their drone, they're just sharing it on social media like Instagram, where the quality doesn't really matter as much. So it is frustrating really. If we can see that in a firmware update, that'd be really good. But I have asked the question and it doesn't seem that that will come. So it is frustrating, especially if you like taking photos, posting them to social media like I do. Mini 3 Pro, I've taken so many photos with that Mini 3 Pro in vertical and shared them so quick, and it's just really convenient. So it's a shame that we don't have that on the DJI Air 3 when I think it just could happen. Come on. Now both the main camera and the actual telelens, they are both fixed apertures, meaning you cannot change the aperture. So the main camera is an f1.7 and the telelens is an f2.8. Now if I actually use the lens I'm filming on now and I went to go outside in daylight and I shoot on my camera at f1.7 in daylight, my shutter speed is going to be like way up there to try and compensate for the overexposedness of it. It's going to look really bad. It's the same on these drones, just like the Mini 3 Pro. So on any of the actual shooting scenarios that you'll find yourself in the daytime, you are going to have to use ND filters. This will then reduce that amount of light and you can bring your shutter speed down. Now currently at the time of actually recording this, your only ND filters you can get are the DJI ones. I'm sure third-party companies like Freewell will be working on these right now to bring them out, but you are limited that you can only just get them through DJI. Now they also don't come with the bundle, you've got to buy them separately. The Mavic 3 Pro, they came part of that bundle, which I thought was really good because especially on this drone, you need ND filters. Whereas the Mavic 3 Pro, it has an adjustable aperture. So you don't always need ND filters on that Mavic 3 Pro. You can just basically bump that f-stop up. So you could put, say, f10, f9. You don't have to use ND filters as much on the Mavic 3 Pro, but they give you them on the Mavic 3 Pro. On the Air 3, where you need them, you have to buy them. There's also the issue of the RC Pro. I'll get to that. But overall, I do generally like the DJI Air 3 and I've had a lot of fun testing this out. It's pretty much going to be good enough for majority of people out there. I love that 70mm telelens on here. Battery life is phenomenal. So why the hate? Why do people hate this drone? So like I said at the start of the video, I've never seen such like a yin-yang reception of any drone like we've seen on the DJI Air 3. Normally it's related to price, but on this occasion it's not that. It's related to a few like areas, which I'm going to try and cover now. So let's get into that first one. And this is to do with the actual main camera, the 24mm camera. It's the same as the DJI Mini 3 Pro. It's a letdown. It's worse than the DJI Air 2S. Where is that 1-inch sensor? And I get it, when I first saw the spec sheet of the DJI Air 3, I was like, is that a Mini 3 Pro camera? What's going on there? So I do get it from my initial thoughts, and they changed once I actually got this drone and I flew it. So the DJI Air 2S, yes, officially on paper, on the spec sheet, the DJI Air 2S has a better spec'd camera. So it has a 5.4K 20 megapixel 1-inch sensor on the DJI Air 2S. Whereas on here, it's a 1/1.3 inch 12 megapixel that magically turns into a 48 megapixel. So yeah, on paper, spec-wise, the DJI Air 2S is better. But when I actually went out and tested both of these in the same location, I'm going to put the shots on the screen now if you've not already seen my video, then the actual side by side, it's really hard to tell any difference. Can you tell any difference with these videos here between the DJI Air 2S in 5K and the DJI Air 3 in 4K? And I think this is because although the DJI Air 2S has a bigger sensor and it shoots in 5K, this Air 3 also has a newer stacked sensor as well, with a lot of processing going on in the background, which makes that video comparison really tough to actually tell the difference when you're actually filming 5K versus 4K between those two drones. And everywhere the actual DJI Air 2S is better though is photos, 20 megapixel versus 12 megapixel. The Air 2S is better there, but don't think that this is a huge downgrade. You're also getting a new stacked sensor, which as we can see from that video is pretty much the same, but also you're getting that 70mm camera as well, which is massive. I love that camera. Okay, the Mini 3 Pro, it's the same camera as the Mini 3 Pro. This is another comment I see all over the place. I thought this at first. When I first saw that spec sheet, I said, it's the Mini 3 Pro camera, what are they doing? But the only similarity is it's the same size sensor. It's not the same actual spec. So this is a stacked sensor. The Mini 3 Pro isn't a stacked sensor. So the video quality from here is better. It's closer in terms of quality to the Mavic series than it is the Mini series. So it's not the same as the Mini 3 Pro, it's just the same size sensor. Okay, let's talk about the RC2 and Ocusync 4. So this brings good and bad things, and it also brings a huge amount of controversy as well. So the DJI Air 3 supports Ocusync 4. This has external antennas now on the RC2. Combined, it's got 6 antennas to give you fantastic video reception. When I've been testing this, I have been absolutely blown away. It's like night and day difference between using this and the older DJI RC. The signal is so good. So if you just want fantastic like video reception where you're flying, or I see some people who want to fly like 500 miles away to drop stuff off to the mum in another country, then the video quality, the transmission that you get on here is just so good. Like there's no lag at all. Like you get in a really clear image on here. I've hardly had any signal dropouts at all. That is 100% the truth. The signal on here is so good. But it's the technology that's the problem. So because it's Ocusync 4, this doesn't support any of the older controllers as well. So the older controllers aren't even old. So the Mini 3 Pro, we had the DJI RC controller. That isn't supported. So I've seen so many people saying, right, can I use my DJI RC controller with this? You can't, no. Can I use my DJI RC Pro with this? No, you can't. And this is a downside, and it's what I get completely. The RC Pro especially, this is an expensive controller. It also has external antennas. It's got a brighter screen. It's actually, in terms of spec, it's better than the RC2. But you can't use this with the Air 3. But you could use this on the Mavic 3 Pro that was released like a couple of months ago. So it is frustrating. Now, we all got a message when the DJI Air 3 was launched saying that the RC Pro supports the DJI Air 3 on the screen. And it was like, oh my God, yes. Yes, finally, here it is. We were all worried for nothing. But that was a red herring. So there is no support for the RC Pro. There is no support coming for the RC Pro. I've asked DJI several times and it's just not supported. It's because of the new tech of the Ocusync 4, it cannot be actually pushed back to any older controllers. So unfortunately, you can't use the RC Pro with your Air 3. Now for me, the biggest frustration to that is if I want to take two drones, which I do a lot, if I want to take the DJI Air 3 and say my Mini 3 Pro, or if I want to take the DJI Air 3 but also the Mavic 3 Pro as well on a trip, I'm going to have to take both of these controllers. And these controllers aren't exactly small, are they? I mean, that takes up quite a lot of room in any bag, doesn't it? Just to have to take two controllers. So I know it's like third world problems, but it is annoying. So I do get that frustration. Okay, to actually explain this last comment, I'm going to use these as props. So DJI have created a Mini series, an Air series, and a Mavic series. They've created a family. And one of the comments I was seeing all over the place, literally minutes after the Air series was announced, was, don't buy the DJI Air 3, the Air 3 Pro is coming. The Air 3S is coming next week. The Air 3 Pro is going to have a 1-inch sensor. The Air 3 Pro, I saw this, is going to have a full frame sensor. I mean, what is going on here? So all this speculation, people aren't buying any of these drones because they're all thinking, I'm just going to wait because that guy told me that an Air 3 Pro is coming next week. There's no point buying this yet. The Air 3 Pro isn't coming. I mean, we all can wish things, can't we? We can all actually think, right, what is going to be that perfect drone? I want it to have a full frame main sensor. I want to have a full frame actual 70 to 200 as well built into it. I want it to be waterproof. I want it to be able to go underwater and turn into a submarine. We can all have these like dreams. Doesn't mean it's going to be reality. Now, I can confidently tell you the Air 3 Pro, the Air 3S is not on way. If it was, it probably would be somewhere in here right now, and I certainly wouldn't be talking about it. There is no Air 3 Pro, there is no Air 3S. The DJI Air 3 will sit in the middle of the Mavic series and the Mini series as a family. The Air 3 will never be a Pro, because if that happened, there wouldn't be a Mavic series. What would be the point? So DJI are not going to cannibalize their Mavic series with the benefits of it having a better and bigger camera, having variable aperture, having more power. That is the Mavic series. If you don't want to spend the money of the Mavic series, you have an Air series, which has fantastic features, a decent enough camera, a fantastic 70mm camera, but you also then have a more cheaper drone as well, a smaller drone that doesn't have as many features, but it's also great. These are all great. So if you want to buy any of these drones, when you're ready, when you're comfortable, go and buy it. Don't be like thinking, reading all these comments going, just wait for the next one. Because when the iPhone comes out, the new iPhone 15 in September, people will be in the comments there saying, just wait for the next one, just wait for the next one. And them same people have got Nokia 3210s in the hand still thinking, I'm going to upgrade 1 year, but I'm just going to wait another year. Yeah, I'm just going to wait another year. Yeah, I'll just wait for the next one. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, just hit that like button. If you want to get some really good music for your drones, go and check out Artlist, sound effects, music, really, really good. I've also got my own drone website, so I've got drone presets, drone LUTs, drone cheat sheets for all of these drones. Go and check that out. And if you got this far, just hit a fist emoji. Give me a fist pump, and I'll give you one back in the comments. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.